Welcome everybody out to this awesome YouTube live broadcast. We've got Beanie from where are you located? You're in Australia, right, or New Zealand?
Australia, mate. Yeah, Sunshine Coast.
I,
So I don't know if
okay,
you know
wonder
the east coast of Australia at all. We're probably about halfway up.
halfway up. Awesome. And
Yeah.
Jason Schroeder over here in Phoenix, Arizona. And today we're gonna cover something that I was really excited about when I saw Beanie posting about it. Were the 12 causes for project failure, nicely distilled down from some of the best resources that we have in the industry. And so I had some questions for him. He agreed to hop on both of our YouTube channels, and now we're broadcasting, and I'm pretty excited. So do you want to kick off with how you doing today? I keep trying to practice with mate, but it just doesn't sound authentic. But how you doing today,
Doesn't
Beanie?
work. Yeah, no, go well, mate.
It.
I could do the mate. It's second nature for me. Yeah, we're just
I'll do that. I'll do that.
starting to kick into our summer period over here, so it's starting to really warm up. I think you guys are probably the opposite to us. You're probably just going into your winter period, but
Yeah,
yeah, looking forward to getting into this because it's so important. It's like we all think or tell ourselves how legendary we are at running projects, but the data tells a different story.
yeah,
And this is based on like 7 decades of data now, and it says these are places that we fail. So to me, if we as PMs or everyone from the boots on the ground up don't know these and address them, then we are doomed to fail before we even start.
I agree. And I would, and I, by the way, I do want you to know I'm going to commit in the next 3 years. I will make it down there to you, and we'll go do some fun stuff. I promise,
Awesome, man.
100%.
Yep.
So,
Oh,
um, we're heading into winter out here, so we're doing Halloween decorations. I can't go to the lake anymore, so now it's off to the sand dunes, but we're doing great.
yeah,
So,
cool.
by the way, there's a 2 or 3 second delay, so if I interrupt you, I apologize. But you had
Yeah.
we talked about an opening story, um, and it's to your point. It's the same every time when there's not a plan. You walk on site, there's chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the workers don't know where to go. They're doing their best, right? The workers in foreman and trades are doing their best, but they don't know where to go. The job site team are also trying to do their best, but they're scrambling, and it's just sheer chaos. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I've been thinking about the last time you brought this up was on the mega projects, the stress gets so overwhelming, it's breaking people.
Yep.
And so the one of my big things that I wanted to talk about from your experience is why do you think so many projects start before they're ready? And do you see the same thing on that side of the world as we see over here in the U.S.?
100% we do. And I believe it comes back to, I've actually drawn this out on the board before. It's the decision making process. Okay, so from concept, this we go wrong, and you nailed this just before. We don't actually start out wrong. We before we even start, we don't really give people a chance to be able to execute the project to the time duration because
Yeah,
there's a duration and people off site with purchase orders and making decisions and all those sorts of things burn up a lot of the construction time. So the construction time gets compressed to start with.
yeah,
And then everyone goes into a panic. Oh, we need to try and catch up. We need to get this thing back on track. So the first thing, planning takes time, right? A lot
yep,
of time to do
yep,
planning well. It's not a 2 minute exercise.
yep,
So the first thing that everyone do, it's ready, fire, aim. Fire, ready, aim, and they go just get things moving. So what
yeah,
does a supervisor do to just get things moving? Throws the schedule out the window, throws the planning out, what he has done of the planning out the window, and he goes and does the best that he can out in the paddock with what he's got.
yep,
So we're literally setting these guys up for fail by not going the old lean thing, just stop. If you got a problem,
yes,
stop and let's fix it first and actually create a decent base to be able to work off. We don't skip putting civil works in before we try to build up because we
no,
know the building's going to fall over if we do that. Yet that's
yeah,
exactly what we do with planning.
100%. And um, I've noticed that, and there's this concept. I, I read it on the way back from a Super PM boot camp recently because I've been in Deming's work recently, and I know you are.
Yep.
I'm super. What I'm so happy about with your body of work is you're so well read and you pull from all of the patterns. So I'm reading from Deming, and then just got back from Japan, and he had this saying that said, "We're failing despite our best efforts." And then it hit me, these trades, and I don't know, I think you said out in the paddock or out and or in the US out in the pasture, they're doing the best they can, but they're
Yep.
literally failing despite their best efforts. But people say, oh, it's the people, oh, it's the people, it's the people. No, 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 it's the system.
Yep.
And I actually took a minute to reflect, and it's like these trades are bending over backwards to try. They're trying to finish previous jobs. They're adding labor when we ask. They're rushing when we ask them to rush. They're pushing when we push them. They're trying like crazy, but
Yep.
because we don't have a plan, like you're saying, we're failing every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But yeah, we literally set them up to fail. Okay, it's
yeah,
at our level. We accept the push from the client or whoever it may be that's going, just get this thing up and running and get things moving and bring 100 people to site when we're not even ready for 100 people. We don't even have any gear on site. We haven't prepped anything for them. All those sorts of things, because someone at a higher level wants to make it look like the project's moving.
yeah,
And yeah, they are trying. They're trying hard, and it's always, before you look at the people, go and have a look at your process and have a good look at
yes.
yourself. How have you set the people up to succeed?
I love that.
And
Do
if
you?
you, sorry,
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, Benny.
no, it's have a good look at yourself first. There's,
Yes,
like you said, I read a lot of books. There's a good one that a mate of mine wrote called Tom Hughes, and it's improvement starts with I. Look at
I love
yourself
that.
before you go blaming everyone else.
I love that. I was just wanting to point out because I think it helps when more people talk about it is that and I apologize if everyone, not you, but if people are getting annoyed about me talking to about Japan, but it was like literally transformational. And one of
Yep.
the first things those former Toyota leaders said was, we are hard on the process so
Hmm.
that we can be easy on the people. And he even said we're not focused on numbers. We're focused on quality and the process to get quality. We're not worried about finances. We're not worried about financial goals. It's a condition, like Eliyahu Goldratt says, but we're focused on the process and quality. And I just hope everyone heard what you said there because it's so important.
Yeah. And that's the
And
cause effect thing, right? So they're looking for the
yeah,
effect and what's going to cause it.
yes,
The cause is the quality. You just nailed it, right?
yes,
The quality
yeah,
and the hard on the process. Make the
yes.
process bulletproof. Get the quality right. Like Bill Walsh used to say, take care of the team, and the score will take care of itself.
I love that. And I didn't know if I should mention it before. By the way, I know we're heading into the stats for the book How Big Things Get Done. But
Yep.
I didn't know if I should mention it, but the last planner system, hearing you talk brought this up to me, but like the last planner system, pull plans, look aheads, weekly work plans, day plans, it's always like push, 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 push. But actually, that first planner system, which you're talking about with project planning, is
Yep.
actually where we win the job. So you had brought up the project failures, and I think you were going to bring up some stats. What are we looking at when we don't plan projects, like
Yeah.
from a data standpoint?
All right. So if we go to, I'll pull this page around because you can't quite see me.
Yeah.
But looking at Bent Flyvbjerg's, I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Probably haven't. The Iron Laws of Project Management, right? And this is the data. This is collected across, I don't know, something like 16,000 projects, everything from doing home renovation to space exploration.
Yeah.
0.5%, so 0.5%, are on time and on budget, and they deliver the benefits that they forecast that the project was going to deliver. 0.5%. 8.5% are on budget and on time or better, and 47.9% are on budget or better. So that's what I'm saying. You go and look at everyone's LinkedIn profile, anyone that's anything to do with the construction industry, and I'll guarantee you somewhere in their profile they say, I deliver projects on time and on budget and blah, blah, blah. That's not what the data says.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and to your point, I hope this comes across right. The well, I don't know if you have it there, but so thank you for those stats. The I grew up at Hensel Phelps, and I've got a huge shout out for Hensel Phelps. They're a like $9-10 billion company in the U.S. right now, but they've always had a couple of habits. Number one, they schedule with flow. They call it SIPs, short interval production scheduling, and
Yep,
you're well familiar with that. They
yep,
always have people in pre-con, always, like months, years beforehand, and they
yep,
train their own builders. And so I accidentally, by sheer accident, no skill on my part, no skill on my part, accidentally grew up on good project after good project after good project because they were in that pre-con time. And then I come out and I start working for other companies and I'm like, what is going on? What is going on the bioscience research laboratory and I hope I'm not talking too much, Beanie, but the
no,
that project, it is only like $120 million in today's dollars, but it was pretty complex. I was a new project superintendent at the time, and I had 10 months to plan it, do it right, and it was going through design and everything. And the general superintendent said, "Jason, get off that job and go. I want you to build 2 or 3 small projects ahead of time." And because I came from HP, I told him no. I
yep,
said, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to plan this job. And so I've got one other example. You had asked me to prepare for another example, and then we'll kick it back to you if it's okay. But we
you know,
finished on
yep,
time with 30% in change orders, raving fan client on budget, and I YouTubed the whole thing. It's all online because of that pre-con time.
yep,
And then the story that I thought of ahead of time, ahead of yours for the uh, when planning failed, and I'm not trying. The reason I'm kicking it off like this is because I would fail too. It's just accidentally I worked for Hensel Phelps, but I remember going to a 450 million dollar project up in the Boston area, and they were asking for some help, and they had the typical CPM schedule. But some of the early signs, there wasn't a full team. They didn't have everybody collected in the office. They weren't doing any teaming like you always talk about. I always see sports books and analogies from you. They were doing nothing of that.
yep,
No plan. And this is what they kept saying. We don't have design. We can't plan. We don't have design. We can't plan. We don't. And this is a 450. And I was like, when are you going to start? Oh, in about 3 weeks. And I watched them. We found a way to optimize them and get them started, but they said no, thank you, because whatever corporate politics. They exceeded their budget $160 million a year later, and I didn't know that when I first grew up in construction, but that, to your point, is common. So that's like what I
yep,
see when they don't plan. So I'll kick it over to you because you got stories too.
yeah, yeah. There's a really important point that I just want to go to that you spoke to then, right? You understood what good looked like
Yeah.
when you went to these other places, okay? This is one of our major issues as well, is we don't understand what good looks like. We're just measuring
Yeah.
ourselves, and I'm reading a book at the moment. The guy, it's called The Afterburner Advantage. It's all around how he used to be a former fighter pilot, okay? And he
Yep.
said, if you measure yourself against the industry, against the standard average, if you want, then
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing's not good.
Yep.
You
Yep.
might be a bit better than the average. You need to actually go and see, and this is where the value of like your trip to Japan comes into it. Go and
Yes.
look at what
Yes.
good looks like.
Yes.
Trust me, it's not what you're currently doing, or it's highly unlikely that what you're currently doing is good,
Yes.
or much less great.
Yes.
So that's having that baseline that you stood with, and you actually standing up and going, no, not going to do it your way. I'm going to stop. I'm going to fix it first, and then we'll do it right, because we're going to
Mm-hmm.
end up at the end a lot better off than if we just try and race off out of the blocks now with half a plan, like you said, design not finished, all the rest of it.
I
So
agree. And can I say one thing before you
go for
kick
it.
off your story? So that is the thing. I'm not complaining. I'm not being negative, but you just hit on the point, and I didn't understand it until you said it. Measure yourself to excellence. When I come
Hmm.
back from Japan, they're like, "Oh, Jason, Japan, Japan," and it's like people get annoyed, and it's like this. It's like I don't want to hear it. But what? Why? Why would we not want to positively compete or rise to the occasion or be up in the same game? If Japan, we looked at the stats in a webinar that we were doing. Somebody said, oh, "Okay, I see your pictures, but do they finish earlier?" And it was 20% earlier. And
Yep.
what about their injuries, though? They have half the amount of injuries as the US.
There you go.
Half. And I'm saying, okay, first of all, Western countries, I'm not just going to single out the United States, but after World War II, we taught Japan a lot of these things. They
Hmm.
ran with them. Why are we too proud now to learn again what we forgot ourselves? I think your point is like, let's run with the big dogs. I don't want to run messy. I want to run with the big dog. Anyway, I just had to point that out. That was so good, Beanie.
Yeah, yeah. It's such an important point. So
Yep.
go and have a look. If you're not sure what good looks like, or you think what you're doing is good, go and have a look at Jason's stuff. Jump on the YouTube channel, have a look at all the docs that they've got there for planning of what good planning actually looks like. I think you've got a Miro board, which has got all those documents and stuff like that. He's done all the work for you. It's paid by numbers. You just need to go and have a look at it and follow that stuff because it is good. Well, when I'm on site, my site room is covered in the docs from your stuff, and it's up there, so it's up in everyone's face, and they see it, and they know that I'm serious about it. And like you keep talking about people getting sick of you repeating yourself about Japan, you
Yep.
have to repeat yourself for this
Yeah.
stuff to sink in. Okay, you can't
That's a
say
good
it
point.
once or twice or whatever it is. You need to keep repeating, keep repeating, keep repeating, keep repeating. When they start to pick it up and they start repeating back to you what you've been saying to them, then you know it's actually stunk in. It's actually stuck. Yes, they might get a little bit sick of you repeating yourself, and there's, storytelling's a really important part of this process, being able
Yes.
to say the same thing over and over in different ways. But don't apologise for when you've got something that you know is important and needs to be conveyed to them. You've got to keep repeating yourself. You've got to keep going through that process until people actually internalise it for themselves and get it locked in for themselves. So you can't tell me enough about the stories of Japan, man. I'm always wanting to know. I want to know what the best are doing. I don't care what
Yeah.
what the industry average is doing. I want to know what the best guys are doing so that I can emulate or follow or do whatever that they're doing to get to their level.
Yeah.
A story. I worked on a project nearly 18, 2 years ago now, man, and it was the exact same thing, right? I knew that it wasn't a people problem but by walking the site. And this is
Yep.
one of the most important. This is the most important thing that PMs need to do that they don't do. They get stuck in their office playing with spreadsheets. So I went and walked the site. The site was clean and tidy. Okay, everyone's complaining this is the worst workforce we've ever seen. We can't get decent people. All the usual bullshit that's not really the problem. I knew the site was that we had good people there because it was organised. It was
Yep.
chaos from a design management perspective, but the actual site itself was tidy and clean. And what would
That's
happen
awesome.
again, man, like I spoke about before, it was a rebuild of a couple of cooling towers on a power station that was here.
Okay.
And a lot of time had been wasted by people trying to make decisions, trying to get budgets approved, all those sorts of things. So it was like, get everyone to site and get this thing underway.
Yep.
And no flow, just nothing. The guys couldn't work any quicker because they couldn't get the materials to them quick enough. They couldn't get answers quick enough. They couldn't get drawings quick enough. They couldn't get design changes quick enough. So they can only move as quickly as the biggest constraint in the system. And it
Yep.
was literally a matter of, I was just starting to really internalize Galbraith's rules of flow at this point. And I worked out I used to drive to site and back, which is probably a 5-hour drive. I was
Yep.
listening to Dr. Efrat's book on rules of flow, and I went, that's what we need to attack first. So
Yeah.
literally by going and finding the constraint in the system and going, how do we exploit that constraint and getting the flow happening, that allowed the guys to then plan and execute their works. And it turned around quick, right? Like, it was pretty, I'm going to be honest, it was pretty messy the way that I did it. We were getting flogged by the client every single day. I actually got
Yep.
to the point where in a daily, what they call a steerco meeting, to try and get the project back on track. And you can't really do that. You get away with it once every now and again. The executive general manager was going off. We'd only been on site a couple of weeks. And I said, I lost my shit in the meeting. And I went, you guys have caused this. You're all flogging these guys out here for not moving quicker. This is a
Yeah.
reflection of the decisions and the stuff that you guys have done from up till now. I said, I'm not
Yeah.
Harry Potter. I can't wave a magic wand and fix it overnight, but I can fix it. And I went
100%.
back to the boys. So, sorry.
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt. That's so funny. You know sorry about my cough.
Yeah.
I got sick in Japan a little bit, but one of the things I wanted to insert, since I accidentally interrupted you, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we Paul Akers had invited Mr. Amazawa. He's former. I'm pretty sure you've heard me say this, but the former
Yeah.
VP of Lexus and CEO of Toyota Georgetown in the U.S. And he said, and I remember his English or his Japanese accent when he's saying that. He's like, "I only fire people for two reasons: you lie, I don't need you, and if you look down on Gemba people." And
Yeah.
I remember how he said it, Gemba people. He's like, if you look down at a worker or the people boots on the ground, any and you if you look down on them, you cannot work at Toyota.
Yeah.
And that ties perfectly into your story.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
So
exactly what was going on. And
yeah,
I said, you need to stay out of my road. Let the boys, let me do what I need to do. So the guys out in the paddock, when I say the boys, blokes and ladies out in the paddock,
yep,
can do what they need to do. We need to get them what they need to be able to do their job, and we did. And the earned value, which was at the time, we were struggling to get like 1,200 hours a day. We were forecasting we were going to get 2,200 and we're getting 1,200, and no one can see a problem. We got that. At best, the highest that went through over 3,000 hours in a shift. Exact same
wow,
people, no different.
no
Exactly the
different.
same people. Change the process. Like you said, we were hard on the process, and the people did the job.
So with you when you were boots on the ground and you're walking the field and you're talking to the project delivery team. By the way, I've changed that for everything. I always say project delivery team now.
Yeah.
What is the first sign that the team's not ready to start and that this is heading in the wrong direction?
I'm always looking for flow. Now, these guys, back on this project, they used to think I was mad. I'd walk the paddock. I did this for months on end too, right? This is you got to keep repeating things and you got to keep doing things until people internalize them and they accept them themselves. I used to walk the
Yep.
job 10 to a dozen times a day. The
Okay.
only thing I was looking for is where's it stopped? Where the crane's not moving, where's there groups of
Wow.
people stood up waiting for materials? Because
Where is
when
it
I knew
stopped?
where it was stopped, then I knew where the problems were. I could go and speak to them and say, hey guys, you don't go and accuse people, right? How's it
Yeah.
going? What's happening? Go and talk to the people in the paddock doing the work. They'll tell you what the problem is. We
Yeah.
all like to sit in the office and in meetings and stuff like that because it's air conditioned or, we're out of the elements. Get out there at the work front where they're
That's
actually doing
awesome.
the work and ask them what's going on. They'll tell you. They'll be they love to tell
Yeah.
you what's not working. And
You, you
that was all I did, man. But I did it for months.
You did it, which allowed you to just get rid of your opinions and just like analyze what was going on. It that sounds a lot. So we went into a manufacturing plant when we were on that tour, and we were looking at the machines and then they were like, "What do you see?" Right? You were doing an Ono. He was having his practice with an Ono circle, and Then he said what you just said. He
Yep.
said, "Where is this worker struggling?"
Yep.
And so it was a female worker. She's working good, good, good. And then I see her hand reach up a long distance, right out of her strike zone. And I'm like, oh, there. And I was really, my vision has been on the wrong things. We're all worried about spreadsheets. No, no, no. And by the way, Beanie, I've never, ever thought of in my entire life to, which I'm ashamed of now, but like to just go out in the field and find the break point and then work it back. A lot of times I do a little bit too much like thinking in my own head. I'm going to use that everywhere I go. But what I'm hearing you say is it's boots on the ground, proximity at the Gemba.
Yep.
And, it seems like the stuff I learned from you and Bob Emiliani and Hal Makeomer, it seems like non-lean, lean, non-lean, leadership and people lean, non-lean. it's, it's kind of simple, right?
Yeah, it
So
is.
I love that answer. I love that answer.
Yeah. I think it was
What,
actually Paul Akers actually speaks to in 2 Second Lane as well. I don't know if it was Mr. What'd you say, Mr. Amazamu?
yeah. Yeah. Mr.
But
Amazawa. Yeah.
Amazawa, I'm not sure if it was him or it was someone else. It might have been him at Toyota. And Paul said to him, what does, when the likes of Chrysler, GMH, all these other car manufacturers come to Toyota, he said, what do they say? What are, you're not obviously not scared of them taking away what you're doing and using it in their factories against you. He said, what do
Yep.
they actually say? And he goes, Paul, he said, smart people can't believe it can be so simple. He
Yeah.
said they've got these degrees and PhDs and all the rest of it. They've been to uni and spent all this time working out all these complicated ways to try and fix the problem. He said the problem's very simple, and that is the biggest problem with lean, is that explaining to people how something so simple can be so powerful. Something like walking around the paddock every day. And as I say, a lot of people used to, there's a term in Australia called take the piss, right? Which is making fun of someone doing something. That used to happen all the time with me. What's he walking around the paddock for? What's he looking for? What's he doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they don't understand flow. They don't
Yeah.
understand lean. You get those two concepts in your brain, locked in your brain, flow and lean, rest of it's easy.
Yeah. I love that. And if you don't mind, and I don't know when you want to cut this off. I've run us 10 minutes over, so you tell me, Beanie, but
I'm good, man. I'm good for it.
you're you're good. Okay. Well, then let me do this. The one thing that one of the topics that we talked about was where do people go wrong in pre-con? And I've never thought of this before, but I've got it. I've got an answer based on what you just said, and I think you'll
Yep.
like it.
Yep.
If you see pictures of our boot camps, and the other thing is like, there's nothing in my books or any of your work that's, I mean, it's all simple stuff. It's like stuff we should be doing anyway. But if you see pictures of our boot camps, you'll see we got builders in there planning the job with styrofoam and freaking popsicle sticks and visualizing it and stuff like that. I actually just realized from what you said, the way to do pre-con is to go to the Gemba
Yep.
virtually or physically with styrofoam and not stay in your heads. Like we're going to the Gemba with it. What is Bent? He says maximum virtual product, not minimum viable product. He says maximum virtual product in the book.
Yep.
We're literally like in the field. What you're saying is go to the place of work, boots on the ground, and what we're saying in pre-con is, darn it, let's imagine and build this thing in styrofoam and on paper and on sheets and in simulations and touch it and feel it and go walk the field on styrofoam
Yep.
before we actually and actually I just realized it that Bent talks about it in the book with Frank Gehry putting together models of
Yep.
of the Guggenheim Bilbao. So the one of the topics we were like, where do we go wrong in pre-con? Whenever there's strategic or tactical weighting, which doesn't make sense to me, and we fail to actually uh, build it virtually first. And the last thing that I'll say is there was a great general superintendent Scott, he's still alive, but Scott Berg at Hensel Phelps, he always said to me, he said, if we can't draw it, we can't build it. If we can't draw it, we can't build it. We could say, if we can't simulate it, if we can't build it out of styrofoam, if we can't draw it on paper, if we can't talk to trades about it, we're not ready to go build it. So
Yep.
that two big things clicked for me today, and I thank you so much for that.
Yep.
So I don't know how you want to close this out, but I'm going to write that note right now. Sorry.
Yeah,
So
cool. The, this would be the thing that I'd say to that. I've only just learnt this recently, and because I've been working with a team of data scientists, I can't say anything else about it other than that, right? So I can't. The problem with pre-con is you can't see your work, what you're building.
yeah,
So like you're saying, those little models are fantastic. The other thing with pre-con is we getting better at looking at flow when we're actually building things. We don't look at flow in pre-con. What I did with this team was we lose so much time in pre-con by task switching, doing little bits and pieces here, there, and everywhere. Again, comes back to planning, right? I actually run
yep,
a tack plan with these guys just to
that's
show
awesome.
them how long they were taking to do jobs. So they might, we used something at a scrum called poker planning. So you give size jobs, give them, how big a project or piece of the puzzle that it actually is to build. And then I started looking at via taking the data from a Jira board across to the task plan and going, how long are you spending on each task? How many of them have you got stacked at a time on one day?
Yep,
Sometimes they'd have
yep,
9 tasks stacked on
yep.
one day. 9 tasks means you're basically getting nothing done. By the time you've taken your context switching out moving between those 9 tasks, most of your day's gone. Out of
Yeah,
8 hours,
gone.
7 hours of it will be lost to context switching. So the thing that I would say for pre-con is, like you said, models, build physical things, get out, actually look at the job,
Yeah,
what they call deliberate practice, which is pretend like we're in the middle of construction at the moment and look at the piece of the puzzle that you got to fix, time constrained like it will be when we're actually building the project. Build times in, build milestones in, chunk the work down. What'd you say that acronym was before? SWIFT or whatever it was for short interval work?
oh, SIPs, short
SIFT?
interval
Yeah.
production scheduling. Yeah,
Use the same thing for pre-con.
yep,
People go off on tangents and we get these really big ideas of these. We go and build something that we don't even need or is not even required. Work out before you even start the task, why are you doing it? What's the actual output that you need out of that task? So
yeah,
that you're building just the bit that you need, not, building, we only need a push bike and we build a Maserati. And we do
I
that
agree.
over and over and over again, and that chews up so much of our pre-con time. So that would be the thing to me that I'd say is look at it. I've got there's an AI in this camera, and it switches across,
That's fine. You're showing up. You're showing up great. Yeah,
and it keeps zooming in on me. It's not me doing that; it's the camera. Yeah. So look at it from that perspective, mate, because so much of that pre-con time is chewed up, and that when that chews into construction time, that puts a lot of pressure on the back end. So those would be the things that I'd say to have a look at in pre-con.
I love that. Um, it seems like we're gonna have to keep doing episodes because we got so much to talk about. The one thing I wanted to do, I think, if you're okay with it, what if we um, talk about the school as the
Yep.
learning program, and then do a final closing comment. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. Man. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So I'd love to know about that. What you're doing to basically scale and use that platform. So and then we'll just do handoff, closing comment, and then I think this is a good excuse to hop on again. So take it away. I'll say
Sounds
no,
like a
no. Let me
plan to me.
practice. Take it away, mate. I like.
You got it. You got it. I look at it from the fact we're trying to fix the construction industry from the top down. And if you go back to what you just learned in Japan and all the rest of it, we need to fix it from the bottom up, right? We got to get the workers at the front line need to understand what we're trying to do and how we go about it. There's another term the Japanese use called yokoten, which is disseminating information laterally across the organisation. To me, the skill platform, the way that I'm using it is how do I get onto a construction site and have a team of 200, 300, 500 people that already understand what I'm trying to do? So instead of me trying to preach from the top down and trying to get the superintendents to buy in, try to get the PM to buy in, the client to buy in, if we could have construction sites where the people at the Gemba turned up and they went, we know lean, we know what 2 second lean is, we know about flow, we know what should be going on here and how we should be doing it, we would be so much further advanced than what we currently are. So to
Right.
me, we fix the construction industry from the bottom up. If you look at nature, everything that grows from the ground up.
Bottom
It
up.
sets its roots down and then it grows up. We need to do the same thing. Without going into too much detail about schools, spelled SKOOL by the way too, and it's not like the school that you went to for as a kid. I hated that
Yeah.
place. They actually said to me when I left, one of the teachers said, "Good luck, Adam. You're going to need it."
Oh my. Oh
So
my.
it's about creating that learning environment and giving those people at the front line the skills that they need and the information that they need to be able to do their job effectively, mate. That's the way that I look at it.
I love it. I'm gonna make a commitment and hop into yours now that I'm back from travel, and
Cool.
uh, and check it out. Right now, we're building training for builders for every position on Miro, but I'm gonna look at school and see if it needs to actually be there. So
Yep.
100%, and then check out the great things that you're doing. We're gonna partner with you on everything with education, and I'm in it for us. I'm sure it's the same with you. It's free. I'm not. I want a full library, all field positions, anything they need to know, just complete. Like here it is, as
Yep.
long as they take it seriously, they're going to do something with it. So I'm so impressed with the efforts there. So my commitment is I'm going to check it out.
Awesome.
And I'll if you don't mind, I'll give you the last word.
Go for it.
I'll do my reflection, and this is a positive reflection. I mess this up sometimes, but they said the across the nation, Toyota line manufacturing and production pods will stop with the use of an andon 2,000 times a day sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And in the United States we talk about andon, and I don't know if in Australia you do the same thing, but I love us. I love my
Yep.
country, but it's just this we don't understand it. And I saw them stop the line, and they're just going to go ahead and fix it, and they don't start that line. Okay, you ready, they do the point and call. And when I came back, some of our there it was actually really good for us. Some of our internal processes literally just took a shit. Like it was like, oh, if we keep going, like I'll just tell you, I was on a webinar, and I had accidentally sent out the wrong time zone, so there's like dozens of people waiting for me for an hour. Our systems broke down, and I was like, okay, we're gonna pattern this. We're gonna stop, call, wait.
Yep.
We're gonna stop, call, wait. And it I did it in such a nice way. I explained the principle. I wasn't mad at all. I was like, we're just going to stop. What I'm realizing about Western culture, which I love and am a part of, is that we take that as punishment.
Yeah.
And full kit, which Beanie's talking about, and just stopping the line and waiting to get it right is not a punishment. And we've got to get practice. And what I realized when I came back to my own company is we do not stop the line. I hope I hope in the next week we stop our process lines for what we do 100 times, but we don't do it ever, and it was an eye opener. So I just wanted to reinforce that full kit like that you mentioned with the rules of flow. And if something's not right, stop the line. And the last thing I'll say is I've just found out that's actually the only way we can blame the process, not the people. If we don't
Cool.
stop the line, it's just like, hey, go fix it. We're blaming people. But if we
Yep.
stop the line, then it's like you and I are a team. Now let's fix the process. And I just realized we can't. We're always going to blame people until we stop that line and wait for full or get full kit. So that's my reflection. I'd love to hear your closing reflection. This has been so fun, by the way. Being this is amazing. So go ahead, boss.
Yeah. 100%, mate. Until we learn to stop, and this is what happens. Like we said, why do the projects go wrong? Because we're not stopping it right at the front end and going, hang on, this is just crazy. We're trying to meet deadlines that we're never going to be able to meet. We're going to put people under pressure. We're going to hurt people. We need to be realistic about how long it's going to actually take us to do this thing. Not that I'm saying we don't try and move things up, speed things up, improve processes, but we need to learn to stop. And we don't. Yeah. It's always we're the opposite in Australia too here, like that. And I've been the worst for it, being a superintendent. Get those blokes over there, get that crane over there, get that gear there, get that moving. It might not be ready to get moving yet. And that's something that we really have to work on. And I actually talked to a little process maybe next time that I just learnt recently called ORCA, which is how we debrief at the end of the day and then take that and improve our planning for the next day. Because I don't know what it's like in the States, but in Australia, we do the lessons learnt, we do them at the end of the project, we shelve them somewhere, we forget about them, and we don't learn our lessons, and we go back and repeat the same mistakes. ORCA breaks that cycle.
ORCA breaks it. So I'm stoked. I can't wait till our next one. So that's awesome. If you're willing to do this, that's awesome.
100%. Yeah, I'll do them all day long.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been fantastic. I don't know how we close out the broadcast, but everybody listening on YouTube, on any of the channels, or listening to us live, dead serious, no BS. We absolutely love you. What Beanie and I do is 100% to improve the industry and the people, because until we get the concept that it's about the people, we don't get it. So, Beanie, thank you. This has been absolutely fantastic, and I'll see you next time, boss.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much. We'll speak soon.
Okay, awesome.